Talent is a beautiful thing. It's a gift that many people are born with. You see it in athletes, musicians, writers, or anyone who makes something look effortless. Talent shines like a beacon, drawing people's attention and admiration. It's like the perfect spark to get a fire going. But let's be honest with ourselves for a moment. Talent alone won't get you to the top. It's not enough. Talent is great, but grit, that's what will carry you across the finish line. Talent might start the race, but it's grit that gets you through to the end. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone with incredible talent never quite reach their potential? How many times have you watched someone with all the natural gifts in the world give up when things got tough? That's what happens when you rely only on talent. Talent may get you in the game, but it's grit that keeps you in the game, especially when the game gets hard. Grit is the thing that takes you from ordinary to extraordinary. It's the ability to persevere in the face of adversity, the willingness to keep moving forward when everything inside you is telling you to quit. You see, we live in a world where people give up too easily. We live in a world where instant gratification is the norm, where we want results now, not later. And when things don't happen right away, when the road gets tough, most people bail. But the ones who rise above, the ones who make something of themselves, they're the ones who decide to fight, to keep pushing, to endure, even when everything inside them is screaming to stop. So many people think that because they're not the most talented, they'll never make it. That's the story we've been told, right? You've got to be special. You've got to be born with it. But here's the truth. Talent is a starting point. It's not the whole picture. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the grit to back it up, it's not going to take you as far as you think. Talent is just the spark, it's grit that fuels the fire. Talent might give you a head start, but it's grit that keeps you moving even when you've hit a wall, even when it feels like everything is against you. Think about those people who have made history, those who have built something great from the ground up. Were they the most talented? Were they born with a silver spoon in their mouth? No, they weren't. What they had was an unshakable commitment to their goals, an unrelenting drive that wouldn't let them quit no matter what. That's what grit looks like. It's a refusal to quit when the odds are stacked against you. It's showing up when no one else believes in you. It's staying the course even when you've failed time and time again. We all face challenges. Life is not easy. It's a series of obstacles, big and small, that we have to overcome to get where we want to go. And along the way, you'll have moments where you doubt yourself. You'll have moments where you wonder if it's worth it. You'll face criticism, rejection, and failure, but those who succeed are the ones who keep going despite the setbacks, the ones who keep showing up day after day, even when it feels like they're not making progress. That's what grit is about. It's easy to think that success is reserved for the lucky few, the ones with the most natural ability, or the ones who had everything handed to them. But that's a lie. The truth is, success doesn't care about talent, it cares about resilience. It cares about the ability to keep going, to stay committed even when you feel like giving up. Success isn't about being the best from the start. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and never giving up, no matter how long it takes. Let's talk about the power of consistency. Consistency is where grit shows its true power. Talent might help you get things right the first time, but consistency is what turns small wins into big successes. If you're only willing to give something a shot when you feel like it, when you're inspired, when things are going well, you'll never get anywhere. You have to be consistent. You have to do the work, day in and day out, even when it's hard. And that takes grit. It takes the willingness to keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it, even when you feel exhausted, even when things aren't going your way. Consistency is a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. Grit is what will keep you focused on the long-term vision, even when the short-term is full of obstacles. It's easy to get distracted by the little setbacks along the way. It's easy to get discouraged when things aren't going your way. But grit is about staying focused on the bigger picture. It's about understanding that the journey to success isn't a straight line, it's messy, it's full of detours, failures, and challenges. But if you can push through the hard times and stay focused on your goal, grit will help you get there. Another key aspect of grit is the ability to embrace failure. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. Failure is a dirty word for most of us. We see it as something to be avoided at all costs. But the truth is, failure is essential to success. Failure is where you learn, where you grow, and where you develop the strength to keep going. Every failure is a lesson. Every failure brings you one step closer to your goal. And if you can embrace failure as part of the process, you'll develop a mindset that's unstoppable. You'll understand that failure is not the end. It's just a part of the journey. With grit, you take failure and turn it into fuel. You don't let it stop you. You use it to grow stronger, to try again, to push harder. At some point, you have to realize that talent is not the most important thing in the world. If it were, we'd all be stuck waiting for our big break, hoping for our moment to shine. But that's not how it works. Success is about hard work, persistence, and the willingness to never stop trying. The real question isn't whether you have talent. The question is, will you keep going when things get tough? Will you keep going when everyone else quits? Will you keep going when the world tells you it's not worth it? The answer is up to you. Talent is nice, but it's grit that makes the difference. It's grit that takes you from good to great, from average to extraordinary. Talent is just the beginning. Grit is the journey. And if you want to succeed, if you want to be the person who makes it, then you need to develop grit. You need to commit to the long road, to the hard work, and to the grind that comes with success. Because without grit, talent alone won't get you where you want to go. Grit is the force that will carry you through every obstacle, every setback, and every failure. Grit is the thing that will get you there when nothing else will. So stop waiting for things to get easier. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It's not going to come. What you have to do is put your head down, dig in, and get to work. Talent is great, but grit is what makes dreams happen. It's what turns the impossible into the possible, and it's what will make you stand out long after the ones with talent have burned out. Grit is the key. Grit is the answer. Grit is what will take you where you want to go. There's a reason most people never reach their potential. It's not because they don't have talent. It's because they give up when it gets hard. They start strong, full of energy, full of excitement, and then the road gets bumpy. And suddenly, that excitement fades, the storm hits, the plan doesn't go as expected, and instead of fighting through it, they stop. But the ones who make it, they push anyway, they show up anyway. They move forward when nothing around them makes sense. That's grit. Grit is when you keep your head down and keep digging even when the world tells you to stop. Grit is waking up at 5 a.m. when nobody's watching. Grit is staying up late to study, to build, to practice, while everybody else is partying, scrolling, sleeping. Grit is sacrifice, grit is discipline, and grit pays off. Not always fast, not always loud, but always deep, always lasting. You can take talent and not grow, but you can't walk in grit and stay the same. Because grit changes you from the inside out. Some people chase comfort their whole lives and wonder why they never feel fulfilled. It's because fulfillment doesn't come from easy, it comes from effort. It comes from giving everything you've got, even when you feel like you've got nothing left. That's when the real you shows up. the version of you that's unstoppable, unshakable, unwilling to surrender. You have to get to a place where your vision is louder than your pain, where your reason is stronger than your excuse. That's how grit gets forged, under pressure, and grit doesn't care where you came from. It doesn't care if you started late or low. Grit just asks, will you keep going? Because if you will, it will take you places talent alone never could. Grit levels the playing field. It's the great equalizer. You don't need privilege. You don't need permission. You don't even need a plan that makes sense on paper. You just need the courage to begin and the guts to keep going when everyone else walks away. That's the secret, that's the edge, that's grit. There will be days when you feel invisible, when you feel like no one believes in you, when the progress is slow and the mountain looks too high. That's when you dig deep. That's when you remind yourself why you started. That's when you say, this is what I was made for. Because you weren't made for comfort. You weren't made to cruise. You were made to conquer, and conquering takes grit. It takes getting knocked down and getting back up so many times that failure stops even fazing you. You've got to get sick and tired of being ordinary. You've got to get uncomfortable with mediocrity. Because as long as you're okay with average, you'll never fight for amazing. Grit doesn't settle. Grit doesn't accept the bare minimum. Grit demands more from you, from your time, from your choices, from your life. And once you've tasted the power of what grit can do, you'll never want to go back. You'll never want to play small again. You'll rise, even if you have to rise alone. There's something powerful about a person who decides to stop waiting for a break and start becoming the breakthrough. The one who says, I'm not sitting around for someone to discover me. I'm discovering myself. That's what grit does. It puts the responsibility in your hands. It says, if you want it, go earn it. And not with talent, not with shortcuts, but with sweat, with time, with relentless effort when no one's clapping, no one's posting about it, and no one's cheering you on. You're going to feel pressure, you're going to feel pain, you're going to have moments when you question if it's worth it, but grit doesn't need a perfect road. Grit just needs a reason to rise. A reason to keep going, a reason to wake up and fight again. So ask yourself, what's your reason? What are you willing to go through fire for? What are you willing to suffer for? Because when you've got a strong enough reason, the pain becomes fuel, the pressure becomes training, and the struggle becomes sacred. Every step you take in grit becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. Every hour you invest, every choice to keep going when it's easier to quit, that's what builds legacy. That's what builds strength that won't crack when the weight of life gets heavy. You don't need someone to hand you an opportunity. You need to create one. You need to become the kind of person who builds while others watch, who runs while others wait, who finishes while others give up halfway. Because this world doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards the most relentless. The one who refuses to give up. The one who knows that no doesn't mean stop it, means not yet. The one who believes that just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. That's the person who rises. Not by luck, not by favor, but by grit, by grinding, by enduring, by doing the hard things again and again until the result finally shows up. The truth is, you don't need everything to go right. You don't need the perfect background, the perfect look, the perfect timing. All you need is the fight, the commitment, the guts to say, I may not be the most talented in the room, but I will outlast every excuse, outwork every doubt, and outlive every limitation. That's the kind of mindset that flips the world upside down. That's the kind of mindset that doesn't just chase goals, it crushes them. So if you're tired of waiting for your moment, if you're done watching other people succeed and wondering when it'll be your turn, understand this. Your turn starts the moment you stop relying on talent and start relying on grit. The moment you stop waiting to feel ready and start moving through fear. Grit isn't glamorous, but it gets the job done. Grit doesn't shine, but it builds the future. Grit may not win every race, but it finishes every one. And at the end of the day, that's what matters most. So when it comes down to it, talent is a gift, but grit is a choice. Talent might get you through the door, but it's grit that'll keep you in the room. It's grit that turns dreams into reality, that breaks barriers, and that overcomes every obstacle life throws your way. You may not have control over the circumstances you were born into or the resources you start with, but you have absolute control over your determination. You have the power to choose how hard you fight for your goals, how persistent you remain, and how much you're willing to sacrifice for what you want. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not enough, that you don't have what it takes. Because I'm telling you right now, you do. You may not have the same advantages, the same upbringing, or the same starting point as others, but you have grit. You have the power to choose resilience, to choose persistence, to choose to fight for what's yours. It's not about being the most gifted or the most naturally talented. It's about being willing to outwork, outlast, and outgrow the challenges that stand in your way. So step up, step forward, and choose grit. Make it your weapon. Use it to transform your life and to carve your own path. The world may not recognize your grind now, but one day it will. One day they'll see the results. One day they'll see you rise, stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than ever before. Keep fighting, keep pushing, because with grit there is no limit to what you can achieve.